Rocky. It's a franchise that has spanned almost 45 years and will continue forward with the third Creed film in the works. But this is a franchise that on the outside may look like a generic sports franchise, but the Rocky franchise is one of the most consistent properties in cinema. Outside of one very obvious weak link, this franchise continues to thrive, and while yes it can be quite formulaic, each film manages to add something new in terms of character relationships, personal struggles, and of course, adversaries to give each film a unique feel. So today I'm going to go through all 6 Rocky films and the 2 Creed films and rank them from best to worst. Before we start, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to The Young Cynics, as your support would be so great to help this small channel grow. Everyone knows Rocky sucks, even Sly. He gave this review of it.
Rocky 5.
0.
No, was it that bad, Rocky 5?
Yeah, it was bad.
I don't remember being quite as bad as that.
It was a goose egg. I was definitely not there. That's one of the reasons I wanted to do the last one. Because I said, you know, if you're going to end up on doing something, like, you can't, it was so bad, so off-key, that was the impetus.
The trainer angle was so strange to take at the time, considering he had just knocked Drago flat on his ass, and Tommy, good god, talk about one of the most unlikable characters ever. I get that we're meant to turn on him through the film as it tries so hard to push him and just make him look like average Joe in the first half to sell his turn, but it goes horribly. It also finds a stupid way of undoing all of Rocky's work due to Paulie being just stupid. The final fight is ridiculous and just feels like a WWE backstage segment with a dumbass street fight for the third act, which is so predictable due to the cocky jackass nature that they've turned Tommy to. Not to mention the constant cutting to Robert getting bullied at school and the sheer ridiculousness of that whole side plot. It was the film that single-handedly dragged the franchise down for 16 years. Rocky 2 is a good movie, but it's hard to rank the rest of this list because there is only one bad film in the whole franchise. However, I feel that Rocky 2 is kind of the generic sequel to Rocky and that it's very much the same kind of film. The whole struggle of Rocky returning to the ring starts here, which to me is one of the more annoying tropes in the franchise. However, I like the continued evolution and emphasis of his relationship with Adrian. However, the film definitely drags with the whole Rocky's gonna get hurt if he jumps back in the ring, which builds to quite a predictable ending where it mirrors the last half an hour of the first film, just with Rocky getting the win. This film is definitely the first to lead into the more corny style of the franchise with the training montages while he's followed through the streets of Philly by a horde of children, but it's still a lot of fun. Rocky 3 is Rocky at his prime, the champion and a full-on celebrity, emphasized by his match with Thunderlips himself, Hulk Hogan, in the first act. However, where this film kind of loses me is the way they deal with Mickey's death. The way it's done makes you wonder if Rocky's moral compass is actually functioning, as it kind of goes against what the character has been about, not to mention being kind of a cheap way to create resentment against Clubber Lang. The new angle of Creed as his trainer though is really great, and the second half of the film really brings Rocky back to earth, making for a strong finale as he blocks out the outside voices, and the film works a lot better when Rocky is just being a real character instead of this larger than life superstar. Not to mention Eye of the Tiger being an amazing song. Sure, Rocky Balboa is an ego project. The idea of a 60-year-old Sly going the length with the champion of the world is ridiculous, but the film works really well as an apology letter for Rocky 5. I love the relationship that is built between him and Robert as they struggle to relate to one another, being from such different worlds. I love how they also brought Marie back as a way of bringing things full circle in the franchise. The actual fight story is where the film kinda gets dragged down because, I mean, it's just stupid. However, I like how they humanize Mason Dixon. He's not just another, I'll go get you, Rocky sort of guy, but someone who wants to prove himself and feels that he isn't taken serious by modern media commentators and is seen as kind of a subpar champion compared to those of the past. It's just unfortunate that point kind of gets proven to be the case when he can't take out one of them who's 20 years past his prime. Creed 2 has a lot going on, which is kind of what takes it down a little compared to the first film. There's the plot of Creed becoming champion, Rocky and his guilt, of course Ivan and Victor returning and the internal struggle between the two, the plot of Creed and Bianca's child and their continued relationship. And while the film definitely manages to juggle all of them, it feels like not all of the storylines hold an equal significance. I do like some of the turns that the story takes, like the absolute beating that Drago gives Creed, which mirrors that of his father, and how they incredibly humanize Ivan and the ghost of the night he lost to Rocky and how it ruined his life. The film, however, does feel like an overstuffed turkey and does unfortunately suffer from the same problem as Rocky 2, where we know that they ain't going to lose 2 in a row and it becomes quite predictable. I mean, come on. Rocky 4's the one where he fights the Russian. This is without a doubt one of the most 80s movies ever. The constant montages, the whole Russian angle, and even robots. This film is a complete ego project, however, it's an awesome one. The opening fight, complete with a James Brown performance before the horrifying death of Apollo, and then the rest of the film is just built simply yet perfectly in the most corny way possible. The final fight is awesome, with the two slugging it out before one of the most Murica movie moments ever with his final concussion-riddled speech. Creed is one of the best soft reboots of all time. It tells a simple and familiar story, but adds enough in the aspect of characters to be its own thing. Adonis has a fantastic arc, and that overall message of the film of forging your own legacy is really powerful, as he accepts his father's legacy and decides to build upon it. The best element though is of course Sylvester Stallone returning to his iconic character, and his continued evolution, as he returns to the ring in a last-ditch attempt to reconnect with some sort of family, and the personal struggle that goes on with the two and the relationship that they forge. This is also the best directed film in the franchise, with memorable moments like that one shot in the first fight being a true spectacle of sports filmmaking, and Ryan Coogler's vision combined with Ludwig Göransson's score, making for a fantastic way to revitalize the franchise. There simply couldn't be any other answer than the original. Still, all these years later, it's the best. While all the other films in the franchise, bar maybe Creed, are driven by their sports plot, this is of course a romantic movie between Rocky and Adrian. Rocky as a character is one of the greatest protagonists of all time, and just a nice guy who's a little slow, and that makes you want to root for him all the more. There are so many iconic moments in the film. Not only do you have the iconic training montages set to Bill Conti's legendary score, but simple scenes such as Rocky and Adrian on the ice rink, or Mickey's lessons, or even just him helping a young girl make the right decisions in life. Not to mention one of my favourite moments in film, where Rocky is in the empty stadium, showing the power of a scene when you just let the visuals and the music tell you everything you need to know. The final fight is brilliant, and if you aren't brought to tears by the final moments of the film, then you simply aren't human. It's a simple story of a lovable dummy who defies all the odds and falls in love. However, it's still a flawless piece of cinema, which will forever hold significance, and is of course the best film in the Rocky franchise. So that's my list. What do you think, and how would you rank the Rocky films? Please let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the Young Cynics, and this Sunday we will be posting our bracket list of the greatest animated films of all time. So be subscribed for that, and until next time, I'll see ya.